Hi, I'm Alex,
I'm Katie.
And I'm Eric.
and today we'll be talking about,
The movie Interstellar.
or at least 3 major plot lines.
Correct. All right, Alex, start us off. You're going to talk about dimensions.
I'm going to talk about dimensions, yes. So, in Interstellar, we are presented with a new, intelligent life that is further on in dimensions than us.
They had 5 dimensions.
We control 3 dimensions and experience the 4th one, where they experience 4, or control
What
4.
are those?
Experience. I'm gonna get there. They experience the 5th.
Okay.
So we have the first dimension, which is one plane. Then we have the second dimension, which is just a flat screen, like you're looking at a computer. That's 2D. And then our third dimension is our place in that. And the 4th dimension would be time. Now, my question to you guys is, what do you think it would be like if we were able to control the 4th dimension and time?
Control time?
Yes, basically.
Well, the Tesseract, when he fell into the Tesseract, when he ejected himself, that was these 5th dimensional beings, us future humans. That was them putting time in a dimension where we could perceive it. So I assume it would be something like that. Because if we could control time, then I don't know, us as 3-dimensional beings can't fathom it. So your question is invalid.
My question is
Just
invalid.
kidding.
I mean, if we're talking about controlling time and the factor that we can I can stop time now, I can start time now, and it's like one of those weird freeze frame things that you see in movies, that would probably be counterproductive.
Well, freeze.
Dun, 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 dun. There's a tap dance to that.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Interstellar. Because if we think about it, if there was, say, a 2-dimensional being, and how would, they're trying to perceive our 3rd dimension, which is just natural to us, and to them, time is just like a natural thing, because, if we pause time, then, what happens? We don't know.
We want to be able to know.
Exactly, because we won't, because we invented time. Humans invented time. It's just basically the speed at which we perceive things.
But if you're pausing time, are you pausing people too? Because
Yes.
people aren't time, but time is...
Whoa. Well, no, because, okay, I was just gonna say, in space, you're always racing against time. Are we good with the dimension things?
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm gonna transition that into my time thing. When you're in space, you're always racing against time, because there's always something. Well, they keep talking about Murphy's Law, and that's just what can happen will happen. And in space, that is amplified. What can happen will happen, and what can go wrong will go wrong in space. So that's why in all these movies we see all these things going wrong, because that's what happens in space. But we all know. Okay, so we all know that gravity slows down time. That all shows in the Gargantua thing. With this whole dimension thing, with you, that we don't know. That's just our other dimension. Time to them isn't a thing. It's a thing, but it's not controlling them. They have control over time, just like we have control over that 3rd dimension. Anyway, so 1 hour is equal to 7 years. So 1 hour by Gargantua on what's her face? Miller's planet. Yeah, Miller's planet. 1 hour on Miller's planet was 7 years back on Earth. So on this other side of this wormhole, time is traveling slower than it is on this side of the wormhole. And it actually came out to be 1 second on Miller's planet is equal to 17 hours here on Earth. And so that means 10 seconds is equal to a week here on Earth.
Yikes.
Yeah, this is pretty insane. But so it can anyway. So that obviously puts that gap of 23 years, 4 months and 7 days, 8 days, between Cooper and Earth, and so now later when they go back to Man's planet and they do all that ordeal, then they have Edmund's planet left, and they can't get there, but they have fuel to get there. So what they do is they'll take slingshot around Gargantua, but they have to leave something behind. So they let Tars go, hoping that he can send back some information, and then Cooper lets himself go to let off that extra weight, so maybe they can get around. But so what happens is the time is exponentially slower there, and so then when he falls into that tesseract and he experiences all that stuff with a 5-dimensional physics put into a 3-dimensional space, for Cooper to understand, it's only minutes or even seconds for Cooper, but back on Earth it's like 70 some years. Actually, yeah, it came up to be 70 some years. And then, okay, so these 5th dimensional beings know that the humans in the future know that we can't perceive these things, and so they used their ability to manipulate the space and time to put wormholes in the tesseract in place, so when he gets back to find, so they put the stuff in place. This is so crazy. Like, this is such a insane movie to talk about, and it's all wacko. But they put the stuff there, and now when Cooper gets back home, it's only been seconds for him, but it's been years for everybody else on Earth. So they get back, and then he spends a couple weeks there, but then he goes back to Edvin's planet to help with them, because for her it's only been like a day, if that. So for her, Cooper is only gone a little bit. And so all this time, you have to, in Interstellar, all these timelines you have to keep track of. I saw a picture of this certain timeline that outlined everybody's thing. And yeah, it's all wacko, but it's insanely cool. And so, but the only problem is, what happened first? These humans went to future, and then they saved themselves from being extinct. But how did they get there in the first place?
That's what I was going to say, because you said that they were future us. But future us,
It proposes a paradox. Like, say a professor goes into the future and reads this new paper that just came out, and then he comes back and tells a student about it, the paper, and then he proceeds to write that paper.
Yeah, but Earth was in danger. And it was the 5th dimensional beings that helped them basically
Save ourselves.
Yeah.
But how did the 5th dimensional beings, which are us humans, get there?
Exactly.
Like, how did we? Yeah.
Without the 5th dimensional beings, Earth would have died and everybody would have died.
Yeah.
And Cooper and Rand would be stuck on.
I kind of sort of have a argument for this, but it would take forever to explain stuff. So.
Okay.
Anything you had to say on the time thing?
More or less, I've just always thought that, especially when you look at this, that like, in the end, no, don't put that down there. In the end, time ends up screwing someone over every time, and in the end it ends up screwing everyone over, because eventually somebody's gone, or somebody dies, and someone else is left there, or you have to wait however many years it was to see your dad, or like that kind of stuff. And so it ends up just kind of being an antagonist, especially in these movies.
Yeah, time is definitely an antagonist. Because you're always racing against time.
Mm-hmm.
Because Cooper wanted to have time to get back to his family, and everybody else wanted time to save the people on Earth. Whatever. Time. No time for caution. Anyway, in space you're really isolated, aren't we, Alex?
Yeah.
So?
We are very isolated in space. Essentially, as this is my topic, and I am now an expert, people aren't exactly made to be alone. So in every situation, you're always trying to find people, or you're trying to find a way to convince yourself that you're around people in a way. And so, as it ends up, like we make these movies because we're looking at the isolation in them, and like thinking about how you'd be completely on your own, like everything would be up to you and your own beliefs and what you feel you need to do in that moment. But when it comes down to it, like, we kind of end up being isolated even in our own, like, even on Earth, because it's like like isolation isn't exactly just something that is a physical thing. Like you're not just physically isolated from people. You could be emotionally isolated, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so like it's you see it in this because like he leaves, she's stuck. Murphy's stuck for forever, just being home with no dad that she wanted, and
Yeah, she feels isolated, even though there's humans all around her. She feels isolated because her dad left.
and like then you see the actual isolation, like man on his planet, where he's stuck doing nothing, and he ends up trying to kill everybody, take over the shit.
And that's what isolation will do to people.
Yeah.
And that's what makes people different from these robots, is because what man was talking about on his planet, he was saying this survival instinct, you're feeling it, aren't you? And when he left Cooper to die, he was his survival instinct is what man felt to try to save himself when he didn't do what he was supposed to do. He was supposed to be the bravest, he was supposed to be the best, but he didn't do what he was supposed to do because of this isolation, and it messed with his head and everything. And that's what makes us humans, I guess.
Like, yes, you can have emotional isolation, but if you have physical isolation, it doubles the emotional isolation, basically.
It squares it, I would say.
Math, yeah.
So yeah.
So basically, time just sucks.
Yeah.
Time sucks. Isolation sucks.
Dimensions
Dimensions
are-
probably suck.
Yeah. Vacuums.
Suck.
Yeah. Space is a vacuum.
Well,
Therefore,
space sucks.
space sucks. Alright, so now we're going to rate Interstellar and give 3 factors to why we chose that rating. 1 to 5. Alex, you can start us off.
1 to 5. I give it 4.5 Doritos out of 5
I don't get it.
Why is it Doritos?
because I'm eating Doritos.
Does
Alright.
that mean I get to choose popcorn?
Sure.
Okay.
The Doritos are bigger.
Shut
Talk.
your mouth.
I give it a 4 out of 5 because it gives us a lot to think about. Yes, like Inception.
Yeah.
And another one because like I'm one of those guys that really like action-y stuff. But like the 0.5 because some parts can be drawn out, but I can see why. Drawn out parts make better movies, but I'm really hyper, so I can't.
So, okay. So you said action. You like the action. You like if it makes you think, but it's 4.5 because sometimes it was drawn out a little
Yeah.
bit. It was a pretty long movie.
It was.
But
Yeah. It's harder to notice that though when you watch it over
Yeah.
50-minute classes.
Yeah, I guess you're right. We'll split up. Cool. KG?
It's hard for me to give things ratings because with both this and Inception, like, I like them when I'm watching them and I freak out about them while I'm watching them, and then like a couple minutes later I'm just like, okay,
Okay.
it was cool, I guess. But I would think that the me that I was watching the movie in the present, that is not currently the present anymore, would probably also, I don't know, 4.75.
Alright.
Because no movie can have a 5. Because that's just how life works.
Yeah, then you're saying there's no movie that's better than this.
And
Who's to say there's not going to be another movie?
so yeah, that's one. No movie can have a 5. And it's just generally like I feel like there's always room for improvement in something, even if you can't necessarily pinpoint what that is. And then I like the characters a lot, like Murphy and Coop. Even though I'm really confused about the whole Cooper, the one. I don't understand I'm
Matthew?
confused about the baby. No,
Oh.
no, the baby.
Jesse?
No, not
That's a
Jesse,
whole
because
nother-
Jesse died.
That's a whole nother
Yeah, but that's another day.
time.
And then third, I don't know. I just generally like the thinking aspect of it,
Yeah, definitely.
where you're just kind of stuck thinking about what happened and what you're thinking. You're thinking about what you're thinking.
I'm going to basically agree with you 3 because I
There's
can't
2
give
of us.
You too. Because yeah, you can't give a movie a 5. That's just like saying that there can't be anything better than this. So, but I think Interstellar deserves a 5. But I'm going to give it a 4.9. Or 1, just because it is an insanely awesome movie. It's been my favorite ever since I've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
because just because the whole it's not your typical space movie. It has all the typical things in this of a space movie, but it has all these different aspects to it. And yes, it makes you think. I also like it that has that paradox in it. It like has that paradox of, like what happened first or what happened, because that, like, again, that comes down to it makes you think. Excuse me. The third reason is just because Matthew McConaughey. McConaughey.
He's my husband.
Oh, is he?
He is.
Okay. Not
Don't
Captain
ask
America.
him. He'll say no.
Oh.
Me too. Don't ask.
Okay. Matthew McConaughey, he's just an awesome actor, and seeing him do this, and also you ever played Murph? I don't know what her name is, but
Jessica Chastain.
Jessica, yeah, she pulled it off awesome. Like, so, just the actors in it pull it off. Like, it was just insane. And I'm just gonna give another reason: the music. The music is insane. So if one of those didn't count, music. The music, Hans Zimmer is a genius, and yeah, it's exciting and awesome.
I was gonna say he's also my husband, but no.
You can't. That's polygamy, and that's bad.
Just because you don't agree with it doesn't mean it's bad.
Okay, and signing off tonight, I'm Eric.
I'm Katie.
I'm Alex.
Oh, we're the Jar Jar Binks fan club. That's my single accomplishment of the year.
Nice. And we're the Jar Jar Binks fan club.
I had popcorn.
Okay. All right. Thanks for watching.